come here and box me up real quick, probably clip me, then go home.
As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
JakePaul is now sparring with Shakur Stevenson as he prepares for his showdown with Gervonta Tank Davis. By working with Shakur, Jake aims to match Tank's speed, timing, and defensive skill. After 5 years in the professional ranks, he believes his high-level training will sharpen his abilities and give him the advantage he needs. Confident and hungry to prove himself, Jake insists he will shock the world by knocking out Tank and cementing his place among boxing's elite.
Prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you. How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
Wow.
just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed, and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my
JakePaul has shown impressive growth since moving from social media to professional boxing. With multiple official wins, he has proven his discipline and steady improvement in the sport. Despite constant criticism, he trains relentlessly, driven to silence those who doubt him. Now, he faces his toughest test yet against Gervonta Tank Davis. Confident in his evolution, Jake is determined to shock the world once again by showcasing how far his skills, power, and dedication have come.
World and even shock myself and show myself what I'm capable of.
When you picture how it goes down, is there something that you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself knocking him out? Do you imagine being victorious? And what would that mean for you? A guy, again, who has only been in this sport for a couple of years. You've turned it on its head. You've had a massive impact, clearly, in just a few years, but it's only been a few years. That's the bottom line.
No, exactly. This is my 5th year as a pro. And so I've had to progress faster than anyone else in the sport to be able to compete at this level and to be able to hang in there with these guys. But I do believe that I have the power and the offense to be able to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents and set them up for it. And so I am fully confident in my ability, and I think it would be one of the craziest upsets in a long time.
Yeah, one of the craziest upsets ever, probably in many people's eyes. Well, I think I saw Cardi B just put a $250,000 bet down. It was a parlay, I believe, on Aspen all over Cyril Gahn. But then for Tank to beat you, have you seen that? And what do you think about Cardi B potentially placing a $250,000 bet here?
I didn't know.
I saw it.
JakePaul has recently brought Shakur Stevenson into his training camp, a move that signals his dedication to serious preparation. Paul claims Stevenson personally reached out, offering to join the camp, giving added credibility to this new phase. To replicate Gervonta Tank Davis' speed and southpaw stance, Jake is now working with several skilled left-handed fighters. This diverse sparring lineup helps him adjust to Tank's angles, footwork, and counterpunch rhythm. Rather than relying only on raw power, Paul is prioritizing discipline, movement, and conditioning. Stevenson's presence brings technical precision to Jake's unconventional style, adding much-needed refinement altogether. This camp shows Paul's intent to elevate his game and prove he's capable of competing at boxing's highest level.
We got some great guys coming in, some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast.
Despite ongoing debate surrounding celebrity boxing, the sport has maintained its classic appeal. Fans still gather for major fights not only for entertainment, but for the tradition and respect boxing represents. The upcoming matchup between JakePaul and Gervonta Tank Davis has reignited conversation throughout the boxing world. Brian Mendoza noted that opportunities like this reflect the sport's evolution. If a fighter can draw attention and revenue, then giving them a platform makes sense. He emphasized that boxing is a business where visibility creates opportunity, and both men have earned theirs. This fight has sparked discussion globally, helping keep the sport relevant and commercially strong in an era driven by social media and shrinking attention span.
And it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not. I got no. I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world.
The unexpected partnership between JakePaul and Shakur Stevenson has taken fans by surprise. Stevenson, known for his poise and disciplined approach, rarely works with crossover athletes like Jake. Yet this alliance highlights a unique blend of traditional and modern boxing cultures. Many observers find it unconventional, but both sides appear to benefit. Jake receives high-level technical guidance from one of the sport's sharpest minds, while Stevenson gains visibility among a broader, younger fan base. Their sessions are said to be intense and highly focused, proving that unlikely pairings can still produce meaningful development. This collaboration also blurs a line between entertainment boxing and elite training, reflecting how the sport continues to evolve from modern...
Reached out to JakePaul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to JakePaul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis. Tell me what is the difference. I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with JakePaul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him.
Since the announcement of JakePaul versus Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson has openly shared his perspective. Many assumed his involvement signaled support for Jake, but Stevenson clarified his position. He views the matchup through two lenses, business and competition. From a business standpoint, he understands why the fight makes sense, given its potential to generate huge attention and revenue, something promoters always seek. Yet, he admits it doesn't fully reflect boxing's traditional competitive standards. Remaining neutral, Stevenson acknowledges the opportunity without criticizing Tank's decision to accept it. His composed, balanced stance highlights maturity, focusing on boxing's evolution rather than personal opinion.
Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So, as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you gotta also realize I know that it's not going nowhere. Like the fight ain't gonna go nowhere. Like say, cause if I really believe in myself,
right,
and I wholeheartedly think like if we fight again, I'm gonna win this fight.
That fight still be there around the corner.
After I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight still there. It's not gonna go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process to where it's like, yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
Also,
Let's
in his
cash
case,
out.
case, it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retirement.
Boxing commentators are divided over the JakePaul versus Gervonta Tank Davis showdown. Traditionalists criticize it as a promotional spectacle that could overshadow more deserving matchups. Yet many analysts acknowledge that these events attract fresh audiences and create major business opportunities. The irony is clear. Even those who disapprove still benefit from the buzz. Broadcasters, promoters, and rival fighters all gain exposure and revenue from the hype. This contrast reflects how boxing now operates within a broader entertainment landscape. The sport no longer relies solely on pure competition, but also on personalities, rivalries, and storylines that capture public attention.
For sure, it's a lot of people that switched over now. Everybody's like, oh, I've been telling y'all, Shakur. I know y'all have not. Y'all all been quiet.
They on the bandwagon now.
Do you actually, we talked to Virgil Ortiz, right? He told us that he be screenshotting a lot of the hate on Instagram to remember to maybe one day comment on their posts. Do you remember certain comments or posts that bother you?
I remember it, but like I'm not gonna screenshot it. What I do, I kind of like if I see something, I be ready to argue it or go back and forth, but I get up and run.
But
I'm
like, talking about
I'm gonna
get up and run.
Run 3 miles.
It motivate you.
Yeah,
but I'm talking
sure.
about like somebody that you know in the boxing industry that you respected, that you kind of was disappointed, like, damn. Like
everybody, except for the people that's like right there with me, like the Bud Crawford. He's somebody who kind of stay with me throughout everything. And I think he's one of the realest people in the sport of boxing. But everybody, I feel like everybody just said,
like commentators, people that hold shows.
And people around me started moving different.
Like
everybody,
like friends?
Everybody.
Really?
Everybody.
So you had to cut some people off?
Yeah. Yes. I cut people off.
People you thought were friends?
Yes.
When you say moving different, what do you mean?
I ain't gonna like go into detail because I ain't gonna need to put everybody on the spot, but a lot of people start looking at me different. Social media make people think a certain image or certain things about you. Like people I walk into every day, like, bro, I know you. I've been around you for years. You know me. So if you know me, how you feel as though that you gonna go and look at me different or treat me different than what I already was. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, what did Turkey say after that win, like on a personal conversation? Did he say anything to you?
Nah, he just said, good job. We gonna get you.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.